Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Cycle on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Jumai Manson. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. Now the news in full. In a bold move aimed at easing the financial burden on Nigerian parents and strengthening learning outcomes, the federal government has unveiled a far-reaching policy to introduce reusable, high-quality textbooks across the nation's schools. The new policy framework, jointly issued by the Minister of Education, Dr. Maruf Tunji Alausa, and the Minister of State for Education, Professor Shuwaba Saad, is designed to reduce the rising cost of education, promote sustainability, and restore quality and value to instrumental materials used in classrooms. Unveiling the policy in Abuja, the ministers explained that schools will now adopt substandard and durable textbooks designed to last between 4 and 6 years, while the controversial practice of bonding disposable workbooks with textbooks has been expressly prohibited. Following next month's area council election, Federal Capital Territory FCT Minister of the State, Maria Mahmood, has declared that the cohesion in the ruling All Progressive Congress APC is a clear indication that the party is coasting to victory. Mahmood made this declaration at the flag-off at the APC e-registration exercise at Apo Community Town Hall, Abuja. While addressing stakeholders, Mahmood expressed delight over the exercise, describing it as a milestone in the party's commitment to inclusiveness, innovation, and democratic solidarity. National Chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Professor Josiah Amupiton, has reaffirmed the Commission's readiness to organize an election that is free, transparent, and beyond reproach in the forthcoming 2027 general elections. Speaking during INEC's induction and strategic retreat for its national commissioners, secretary to the Commission, resident electoral commissioners, administrative secretaries, and directors of the Commission in Lagos, the INEC boss told them that the work ahead is demanding, the hours will be long, and the scrutiny will be intense. He therefore advised them to remain committed and focused to ensure the success of forthcoming elections in the country. A prominent Nigerian lawyer and council member of the African Bar Association, Adegboyega Kolade, has described reports will be brought in our subsequent bulletin. The New Nigerian People's Party, NNPP, says the dissolution of the Kano State executives of the party at all levels stands and cannot be reversed by a court order. This is contained in a statement issued by the party's National Publicity Secretary, Ladipo Johnson, in Lagos. Johnson said that the reaction followed media reports that a high court in Kano State had reversed the dissolution of the party's executive committees at the state, local government, and ward levels in line with NNPP constitution. Moving on now to the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Wahid Shaibu has charged troops of the 6th Division Nigerian Army to uphold discipline and dedication in the quest to play their pivotal role in safeguarding critical national infrastructure. In a statement by the Acting Director, Army Public Relations, Colonel Apollinaire Anele, the Chief of Staff assured the troops that their welfare remained a top priority as evidenced in ongoing interventions, including the construction of additional accommodation, renovation of existing quarters, and improved access to quality education for soldiers' children. The Association of Resident Doctors of the Usmanu Danfodio University Teaching Hospital Sokoto declared full support for the nationwide indefinite strike announced by the Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors effective Monday, January 12, 2026, over the federal government's alleged failure to honor critical welfare and training agreements. Decision followed an extraordinary National Executive Council meeting of the association held virtually on January 2nd to review the implementation status of the Memorandum of Understanding earlier signed with the federal government through the Ministries of Health and Labor. The association said the review uncovered persistent failures by the government to fulfill key commitments, including the non-reinstatement of 5 disengaged resident doctors of the Federal Teaching Hospital Lokoja, non-payment of accumulated promotion and salary arrears, and the partial implementation of the professional allowance table. Meanwhile, the National Industrial Court of Nigeria in Abuja has issued an order restraining the National Association of Resident Doctors and its members from embarking on the strike they plan to commence on January 12. Justice Emmanuel Sibilin issued the order while ruling on a motion ex parte filed by the federal government of Nigeria and Attorney General of the Federation. Listed as respondents to the motion and defendants to the substantive suit are NARD, its national president, Mr. Mohammed Usman Suleiman, and the Association's Secretary General, Dr. Shaibu Ibrahim. Moving on to Kaduna State Government has sealed 20 illegal College of Health Science and private hospitals across the state. The State Commissioner for Health, Umar Kautum Ahmed, said the exercise is part of ongoing efforts to ensure private health institutions complied with established rules and regulations. She explained that the move aimed to guarantee practical training of healthcare workers in the state and protect public health. The affected institutions are located in Chukun, Igabi, Kaduna North, and Kaduna South local government areas. The Commissioner added that the action enforced guidelines for private health institutions and prevented uncredited facilities from misleading the public under the guise of healthcare training. The World Health Organization has identified malnutrition in children under 5 as a major global health challenge linked to 45% of child deaths, significantly impacting development and economic growth, particularly in low and middle income countries. Correspondent Zarao Nasro takes a look at what the federal government is doing in tackling malnutrition in the country. The report.
An estimated 2 million children in Nigeria suffer from acute malnutrition, but only 2 out of every 10 children affected get treatment. 7% of women of childbearing age also suffer from acute malnutrition. Nigeria has the second highest burden of stunted children in the world, with a national prevalence rate of 32% of children under 5. Medical experts say symptoms include weight loss, poor growth, fatigue, weakened immunity, and cognitive issues. The attributed causes to include poor diet and poverty to underlying illness or absorption problems, affecting all ages but especially children and the elderly. This they believe can be addressed through improved nutrition, supplementation, and treating root causes. The Director Nutrition Information System, Federal Ministry of Health, Emmanuel Abata, says the Minister of Health, Professor Muhammad Ali Fati, is doing everything possible to see zero malnourished child in the country, especially by bringing donor partners to support what the government is doing to tackle the issue of malnutrition.
To him, he wants, if it's possible, he will see zero malnourished child in Nigeria. He wants it to be zero. So I think he has come in with a lot of strategies and a lot of plans, and is making a lot of effort. Even today, he's bringing donor partners to support the ministry, to add to what government is doing. And I think he has supported the nutrition interventions in Nigeria. So we are procuring commodities, especially these basic products for nutritional services like RTF, SQLNS, and the rest of them.
The United Nations view malnutrition as a critical global challenge, a violation of human rights, and a barrier to development, aiming to end it by 2030 through sustainable development goals, which targets ending hunger and all forms of malnutrition. Zahra Nasr, reporting for Global TV.
In the wake of the brutal killing of an Abuja nurse and a female lawyer by one chance criminals operating in unmarked taxis, the Federal Government Territory Police Command has stepped up its operations to curb the menace. Addressing representatives of the Nigerian Bar Association, NBA members of the NBA Women Forum, and the Unity Bar during their advocacy visit to the command headquarters, the FCT Police Commissioner Dantawaye pledged that justice will be pursued to its conclusion. The delegation had expressed deep concern over the murder of their colleague, Ms. Princess Ochigbo, whose body was discovered along the Kubwa Expressway on Wednesday. Dantawaye condoled with the group and confirmed that extensive and discreet investigations are underway, with arrests and persecutions expected soon. Now you are watching the live broadcast of News Cycle. When News Cycle returns, Dangote Refinery marketers fuel deal crashes as imports surge. Details coming shortly, plus business and sports stories on the other side of this break. Please stay with us. You're welcome back, and if you're just tuning in, this is News Cycle on Global Television. Thank you for staying with us. Now, in business now, shoes do more than protect our feet. They carry us through work, through life, and through style. Global TV correspondent Sadiya Yakubu takes a look at Aerogym Shoes, a brand stepping into the spotlight with comfort, quality, and confidence. The report.
Our feet carry the full weight of our bodies every day. Without proper protection, they are exposed to sharp objects, extreme heat, infections, and injuries that can easily be avoided. The Chief Executive Officer of Aerogym Shoes, Dr. Jimmy Ntweng, said their first priority is to make the country proud by making sure that more youth are self-employed.
At the time I was doing business in the defense industry, I found out we import most of these boots, safety boots, and military and paramilitary boots. So I feel that we should be able to do here in Nigeria.
Ntweng encouraged made in Nigerian product instead of relying on imported goods to the country, while the brand focuses on producing shoes that do not just look good. In a crowded footwear market, Aerogym Shoes is carving out its own space, combining modern design with everyday comfort. What sets Aerogym apart is attention to detailed, durable materials, thoughtful design, and styles that fit seamlessly in everyday's life. Customers says it's the balance between affordability and quality that keeps them coming back.
I patronize Aerogym, and you need to go to their company, see a lot of things being done there, machines, standard machines that you can now talk of. They have to make sure that the product is very, very quality in nature.
Health professionals say shoes act as a first line in defense, protecting the feet from injury while also providing support and balance. From professionals to students, Aerogym is finding its way into closet across the community, one step at a time. Sadiya Yakubu reporting for Global Television News.
The fuel supply arrangement between Dangote Petroleum Refinery and 20 major petroleum marketers, under which the parties agreed to offtake 600 million litres of petrol monthly, has collapsed over pricing disagreements. It was also gathered that this agreement sparked a surge in petrol importation witnessed in the month of November 2025, with total imports rising to 1.563 billion litres, according to the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority. The authority disclosed the import figure in its November 2025 fact sheet titled State of the Midstream and Downstream Sector, which showed a sharp spike in imported volumes during the period the pricing dispute intensified. On the foreign scene now, Somali President Hassan Sheikh Mahmoud has condemned in strong terms the recent moves by Somaliland authorities, warning they threaten Somalia's unity and sovereignty, accusing the breakaway region of repeatedly walking away from opportunities from political dialogue. President Mahmoud also stated that his government is prepared to apologize for past abuses following Israel's recognition of the country, in a move Mogadishu condemns as a violation of its sovereignty. Zarau Nasiru completes the story.
In a television address to the nation, Mahmoud said successive Somaliland administrations had failed to see chances for talks that could have led to national reconciliation, instead pursuing steps that further divided Somalis. Mahmoud singled out a memorandum of understanding signed between Somaliland and Ethiopia, describing it as unexpected, saying it came at a time when other discussions were underway, further undermining prospects for a negotiated settlement.
The president again states clearly that Somalia is an independent, single country whose territory cannot be divided or split by one Israeli letter signed by Netanyahu, a wanted fugitive. We implemented a government policy based on dialogue towards the secessionist cause in the Northwest, and we are ready to apologize to those people who were harmed during the period when the military was ruling the country.
Mahmoud reiterated that the federal government remains open to compromise and genuine dialogue to achieve national unity, pledging to make every possible effort to preserve Somalia's cohesion and statehood. He also thanked Somalis at home and abroad for opposing what he called dangerous actions and expressed appreciation to the international community for supporting Somalia's unity, independence and territorial integrity. Zahra Unasr, reporting for Global TV.
Heavy snow and stormy weather have caused widespread disruptions across the United Kingdom, with train and bus services cancelled and travellers forced to find last-minute accommodation, as forecasters warn for dangerous conditions continuing in parts of the country. Gale-force winds and storms barreled through northern Europe, disrupting air and rail travel, as well as cutting power to hundreds of thousands in freezing temperatures. Uyi Agbomofuegbe has the rest of the story.
Some 50 flights were cancelled in London's Heathrow Airport, affecting thousands of passengers, and air travel was disrupted as far away as the Czech Republic. Helen Fay, a 58-year-old teaching assistant, describes the experience as terribly frustrating, saying the rapid shutdown of services and lack of information made the situation worse, while Birmingham's Dr. Arang Dureja claims he was left with no option but to take a taxi after trains and buses were cancelled, noting that this snow is pretty bad everywhere.
It's terribly frustrating, and I think it was just the speed with which it all closed down as well, and the lack of information, it just added to the frustration. Terribly frustrating, and then we had to try and find somewhere to stay because we'd given up on the idea of trying to get home. And eventually, sort of 10:30, so this is 3 hours after we started, 10:30, we found a room in a travel lodge. Not the first travel lodge we tried. We had to trudge through the snow, all through the city, trying to find somewhere to stay.
I mean, to be honest, I was hoping to get on some train, but got to know in the morning because I was traveling. To be honest, had to travel from University Station to New Street by train. Those been cancelled out. Looked for the buses, they've been cancelled out. Had to get a cab. Unfortunately, but can't help it, right? Because this snow pretty bad everywhere. So,
forecasters from Britain to Germany have urged people to stay indoors as they issued weather warnings, including the rare highest level red wind alerts for the British Isle of Sicily and Cornwall in southwestern England. The national grid energy provider stated that some 57,000 homes in the United Kingdom remain without electricity after Storm Goretti brought strong winds and heavy snow to parts of the country overnight. Uyi Agbomofuegbe reporting for Global TV News.
In sports stories now, the federal government has said all group stage bonuses due to Super Eagles players at the ongoing African Cup of Nations have been released and are expected to reflect in the players' domiciliary accounts within hours. The Minister of State for Finance, Dr. Doris Uzoka Anete, disclosed this on Thursday while responding to reports that the national team was considering boycotting training sessions and could decline to travel to Marrakesh for their quarter-final clash against Algeria. In a post on her official X handle, Uzoka Anete said the concerns over unpaid bonuses had been resolved through coordinated action by the federal government and the Central Bank of Nigeria. Ahmadu Bello University Zaria, Kaduna State has secured provisional hosting rights for the 29th Nigerian University Games scheduled for 2028, marking the return of the biennial event to the institution after more than 2 decades. The Nigerian University Games Association bring together students, athletes from universities across the country to compete in various sporting events aimed at talented discovery and youth development. The provisional hosting rights were conveyed in a letter addressed to the Vice Chancellor of ABU by the Acting Secretary General of NUGA, Yunusa M. Baza, following the approval of the Association's Council. And that's it on News Cycle. A quick reminder that Global TV is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. Now kindly follow us across all social media platforms now showing on your screen by using @Global TV NG. I am Jumai Manson. Thank you for watching. Good evening.